Thank you. Hi there. Welcome to our webinar on technology facilitated abuse. I am going to give a couple seconds to let everyone kind of filter in from our waiting room today. So I will, if you hear me talking, that's a good thing. Our sound is working. And if you can see our screen with our title slide up, that's great too. We will be having our Q&A box up today. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please pop any questions into that box and I will be following along. And if they're answered during the course of the presentation, I will go ahead and clear those off. And any questions remaining will be asked at the end of the presentation today. So again, I want to thank you all for joining us for our, monthly webinar. And today we're really excited to have technology facilitated abuse as our topic. Megan Perez, our staff attorney in our family law unit, will be presenting today. So again, welcome, and we will go ahead and get started. Just some real quick information about Community Legal Services. We're a nonprofit law firm. We have been around since 1952, providing civil legal aid to the 5 counties in Arizona, Maricopa, Mojave, La Paz, Yavapai, and Yuma. And our services help people with self-sufficiency, removing barriers to certain things in their life, whether it's employment, housing, health benefits, and we just really try to help those that are struggling and facing a crisis in the civil legal realm. Again, these are the areas that we serve. We do also have our farm worker program. We have a small office in San Luis, which is also in Yuma County, that deals with our farm worker program for migrant farm workers that work between California and Arizona, depending on the time of the year. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Megan to get started on our presentation today. Like I said, please feel free to put any questions in the box and we will respond to those as we are able and throughout the presentation or at the end. Megan, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, thanks everyone for being here. Our first slide shows the theme that I'd like everyone to consider for this presentation. If our digital safety is compromised, then our physical safety is compromised. I would posit that this is a topic that probably everyone here has experienced personally, whether or not, if not in their own life, then definitely someone they know. It is a growing, rapidly growing and expanding form of abuse. And in order to get us thinking about kind of the internet and all of the ways that exposing our information online can make us vulnerable, I have a quick video that'll just kind of throw up a number of topics that are related to technology and the internet. And just a quick warning, there is some realistic, albeit colorful language in this video, so be warned. Thanks, Sarah. And I'm not getting audio.
All right, let me see if I can get that to work again. Is everybody else not hearing the audio? I don't know if you want to put it in the chat or raise
I'm,
your hand.
I'm going to try muting myself for it and see if that helps.
Okay. Okay. Let me. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to start it again and let me know if you are still not hearing it.
A guy needs to protect himself. I had to be sure you're safe. And your name was a glorious place to start. Not a lot of Guinevere Becks. And there you were. Every account set to public. You want to be seen. Heard.
Okay, so we still have no audio. Megan, can you confirm? Sorry, Megan, you're muted. So if you're talking, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yes, actually, the audio is working.
Oh, perfect.
So
Sorry,
just
I
keep
stopped
going.
it
I
because I
think the
saw your
last chat
comment.
said audible now. So
Okay, no, you're fine. Okay, so we will go ahead and restart it for everyone. Sorry about the tech difficulties.
A guy needs to protect himself. I had to be sure you're safe. And your name was a glorious place to start. Not a lot of Guinevere Becks. And there you were. Every account set to public. You want to be seen, heard, known. Of course, I obliged. Born and raised Nantucket Island. A brother Clyde and sister Anya. Your parents really were assholes about the names. Your folks split when you were 12. Your dad dropped out of the picture. Went to Brown, where you majored in lit. Cool. And minored in douchebags. And then on to NYC to conquer an MFA and make your mark, presumably. Now, you still write. Barely. Too busy living out moments you won't remember 5 years from now. I know this because you post about this life all the goddamn time. Candidly, it's the least appealing thing about you, Beck. You posted this hours after our encounter. I was concerned. You didn't mention that cute guy in the bookstore. And then I realized your online life isn't real. It's a collage. You pasted this back up. This, together, lovable, cute, bendy little creature. If anything, the fact that you didn't share me with your followers only confirms we really connected. The next thing our little friend the internet gave me was your address. There it is, with its big, naked windows. It's nice, too nice. Thinking subsidized school housing? Jesus, it's like you've never seen a horror movie or the news. But you want people to watch, don't you? You know, I plan on asking you about this quality when we get to know each other better. A proposal. Why don't we spend the day together tomorrow? Just you and me.
To everyone out there chasing their dreams, don't give up. And in the meantime, mac and cheese.
It's cute. Not deep, but cute. Is there more to you? Let's find out.
All right. And then full disclosure, I want to start with the disclaimer and our goals. Of course, it's important for me to mention that I'm not giving any legal advice here. This is just general information, although of course I will get into some legislative updates. Our other takeaways that I'd like to leave you with today is, as I mentioned, tech-facilitated abuse is a form of violence. It is a fast-growing offshoot, I would suggest, of an old trend of violence, and particularly intimate partner violence. I'd like us all to understand the basics of tech-facilitated abuse with this presentation to really take it seriously. And of course, I don't want to leave us in a bad place, so I want to end with some new laws that have been passed this year by our Arizona legislature and some other ways to protect ourselves. And then my full disclosure here, I'm a little bit discombobulated because, as I mentioned, I think this has happened to everyone or has affected all of our lives. I'm a mother of a teenage son who disclosed to me just yesterday, very timely for this presentation, that he has a girlfriend in Virginia that he's never met or FaceTimed with. So again, thinking about that video, putting that out there, I'd like you to see if you can issue spot all of the red flags that raised in me. Next slide, please. Again, just to understand the gravity and the magnitude and why this is becoming such a quickly growing and changing form of abuse. On the left, we see here in millions the number of social network users in each of the popular sites. And I say quote unquote popular. If you look down, even I am not familiar with some of these. Douyin, Kuaizhou at the bottom. Of course, I did seize my son's phone yesterday, and I discovered that he uses Telegram and a number of others that I was not familiar with on here. I noticed that Discord is not here either. So just again, we have this many millions and billions of people online on a regular basis who are monthly active users. And then if we look at the statistic on the right, 80% of stalking victims report being stalked with technology. So again, as the video highlights, this is just an opening of ways that we are potentially making ourselves vulnerable by participating and putting our information out there on social media. The reason why this 80% of stalking victims is also important is that statistics show that the majority of people who stalk in real life or engage in more in-person types of stalking behaviors began with technology stalking. Furthermore, I recently attended a training on this topic put forth by a former FBI investigator on domestic violence and harassment, who's since turned into a presenter on this topic. And what his theme of that presentation was is that stalking is homicide in slow motion. What that means is that, again, statistically, we see an uptick of violence in intimate partner relationships that often begins with stalking and other seemingly innocuous or less in-person, less violent behaviors. But the statistics bear out that this is the beginning of what often escalates into more in-person violent actions that may culminate in homicide. Let's take it seriously. Now, there are a lot of different forms of technology-facilitated abuse. One of the most important ones is financial abuse, which I'm not really going to cover here. But another major way that we think about it is in terms of image-based sexual abuse. And this can take many different forms, starting from artificial intelligence-generated pornography to what is often considered doxing, which would be the non-consensual distribution of sexually explicit material, meaning I willingly shared a photo with someone and then they publish it elsewhere online or share it with other people. Likewise, sexual extortion could be a threat to do that. Recording sexual violence, we see this on internet pornography websites where there is publication of what is clearly sexually violent material. And similarly with video voyeurism, what we're contemplating here is like the presence of unseen cameras, for example, in bathrooms or changing rooms that are then published online and used in pornography websites. Other forms of technology misuse, as I mentioned, financial abuse is a really important one. You can blow someone up, just start liking and commenting on all of their things. Love bombing is when you try to convince someone that you love them in the start of a relationship and you just cover them with showers of affection and in different ways so that you build up very rapidly a sense of trust in them, so that you can turn that relationship into a more controlling one. Spyware, of course, is any sort of program or application on your or another person's technology that will allow them to spy on or control apps and other things on your phone. Swatting, I had to look up for this. It's like using technology or the internet to create a really chaotic and large-scale situation, which may include law enforcement, usually in order to manipulate or deceive something. Of course, dating sites, ghost apps would be fake apps on on somebody's technology, like phone, in order to mask, for example, spyware or something like that. Location tracking is a really interesting one. Again, referring back to my personal experience here. I discovered from my son's phone that he is sharing his location with this unknown individual. A lot of times, especially in young people's relationships, although it doesn't have to be a young person, you will see sort of coercive threats, people in a relationship saying, oh, let's share our location. If you don't want to share your location, then you don't really love me. I can't trust you. So that's something that's happening more and more often. Outing, again, that would be similar to doxing, publishing people's information or private information online or threatening to do so. The Internet of Things is a new way we're seeing technology misuse. That would be, smartphones, smart cameras, smart cars. if an abuser gets your information on these devices, they will have the ability perhaps to spy on you through these devices and the Internet of Things, or even perhaps to control those items, lock your car doors, turn up the heat in your house, that sort of thing. And then more traditional forms of abuse like grooming, cyberstalking, catfishing, spoofing, all of these things technology is making more and more easy. There are new applications every day. Every time there are attempts to shut these down, hackers will create new mechanisms in order to use technology to spy on people and stalk people and harass people. This list could be limitless, I think. So in terms of taking this seriously, all of these actions can take a real toll on their victims, anything from emotional distress to paranoia. Um, if you feel like somebody is watching you online, then you're going to make changes in your daily behavior. You may be afraid to leave your house. Obviously, you feel like you don't have any privacy or autonomy. It may make you withdraw from social media, from technology in general. As I mentioned with financial abuse, if someone gets your information and uses that to create new lines of credit or drain you financially, then of course you have all of the surrounding effects of that, having to rebuild your credit, perhaps involvement in the criminal justice system. And again, I want everyone here to learn to take this seriously because I think this is a type of abuse that many people just don't know how to deal with, and a lot of people don't understand. And so don't take it seriously when someone says, for example, I think this person is online stalking me. That's something that without taking it seriously, we may just want to brush off, which will compound these feelings in the victim. So it's important to safety plan, not just to assist with people who are going through this, but for all of us. Again, if our digital safety is compromised, then our safety is compromised. So we need to get in the habit, all of us, of making this, what is titled on this slide, safety planning, really just normal parts of our everyday life. In terms of passwords, we all know this information, but how many of us still have the same old passwords on our phone? We're supposed to pick a password that'll be hard for someone else to guess, use different passwords for different accounts, use passwords that are longer than 8 characters that contain numbers and symbols, use two-step verification, don't share your password with anyone. Uncheck remember me and keep me logged in. Always log off, change your passwords often, and be strategic with the secret questions and answers. Again, a lot of this abuse is perpetrated by someone who knows us or knew us well, and so may have a really easy time, if not guessing our passwords, than going in and guessing our security or knowing our security question answers so that they can then change your password and access your accounts. Also, just keeping your privacy settings, as the video demonstrated. If you are public or open on all of your accounts, then anyone in the whole wide world is privy to your information. So consider making all of your accounts private. Make sure that you don't have any spyware or apps on your devices. If you're wondering how you can tell, there are a couple of really easy red flags to spot spyware on your phone or device. Those include looking for unusual battery drain, or if you notice that you're sitting down and you're not doing anything, but for whatever reason, your phone battery is warm or hot, that's an indicator that there's spyware. If your device takes longer to shut down than normal, or if your screen lights up for no reason. Uh, if you have incoming calls that you don't see on the bill, if you see unexplained spikes in your data usage, if none of these happen, but you have an abuser who had access to your device and knows too much. It's just eerie. These are all indicators that there is spyware on your device. And if it is a particular dangerous situation, then, there are certain apps to check for spyware and try to remove it from your device. But you may consider, depending on the severity of the situation, simply getting a new device because that is truly the only way to be completely safe. Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom. As I mentioned earlier, our legislators passed a number of laws this year and introduced a number of others that I don't have time to cover here that are aimed at addressing technology-facilitated abuse. The first is SB 1295. This was a bill that amended criminal impersonation to include doxing. If you look at number 4, using a doxing or spoofing, using a computer-generated voice recording that's designed to mimic another person. This is now criminal as well. It doesn't have to be pretending to be another person. Now the use of AI in order to mimic another person is also criminal. Next slide. Again, unlawful disclosure of images was amended as well. Here, again, sharing explicit images of another person without their permission is unlawful. And this law was expanded this year, next slide, to include, again, spoofing, so realistic pictorial representation. So even an AI generated, or let's say you share an image of another person and then they alter it so that you are now nude in the photo and publish that online. This is now criminal behavior. Next slide. HB 2112, I thought was really interesting when I prepared this slide. What it does is it makes any pornography website, and I'm using that term generally, they refer to it here as, a commercial entity with potentially, harmful behavior to minors. But what we're talking about here is porn sites. What it does is it makes the users on the site have to verify their age before they can access it in order to prove that they're not minors. And then it also creates requirements for the site to immediately destroy that information and make sure that they're not saving it. And then it creates a private right or a private cause of action for the parents of any minors who are able to access this material online. I mentioned that when I created these slides, I thought it was very interesting because I was not sure how it worked or how it would work. I was very skeptical, but I heard from a friend recently that when attempting to access one of these sites, they were forced to put in, identifying information. And at least what this friend told me was that it caused them to abandon the search. But apparently, if you are now looking for pornography, at least here in Arizona, online, be sure that you'll need to enter your age information first. Next slide. If you have a child in school in Arizona, you will have noticed this law, HB 2484. This requires schools to limit student access to internet and use of communication devices. What this meant for my son was that we got a lot of warnings before school year this year saying, any child caught with a wireless device of any kind is going to be in trouble. It's against the law. So a lot of kids take their phones to school, but now they need to make sure they're out of sight because it is prohibited in school. And it also requires schools to place reasonable limits on children's use of internet in school. Lastly, HB 2108 was amended. That law prohibited communication from an inmate to their victims. And this statute expanded that communication. It had previously referred to mail. And here it expands that to any form of communication. So you can't email them, you can't access them online, you can't comment on their Facebook page, anything like that. And it also expands to any other person's contact on behalf of the inmate. So it really broadens. It's probably overdue considering it was just mail, but it broadens the prohibition on inmates contacting their victims in any form. All right, so lastly, I conclude with some resources here. We can skip to the next slide that show where we can go in order to enhance our internet safety. This first slide shows all of the different privacy settings so that you can look at these specific social media platforms and change your privacy settings. And then the next two slides show other resources that just have all manner of internet safety resources. They include toolkits on digital safety, planning for victims, training opportunities, a lot more expanded information on all of the topics that I've covered here today. So I definitely urge you to take a look at all of these different resources because, half an hour is just not enough time to get into this. I've worked with people or met people now who can do, a 2-week training on this topic. There's just a lot of information. And I wanted this presentation to just, like I said, give us all sort of a taste of the basics and get everyone to really take this seriously because, again, if our digital safety is compromised, then our physical safety is compromised. We need to think about this in terms not just of our clients, but really ourselves because it is something that is going to impact all of us in our lifetimes. And it will change too much to keep up with. So it's just important to be safe in every basic way that we can. All right, couple minutes left. If we have any questions, I'll shut up.
There are no questions in the Q&A box right now. So we will give it a couple minutes. So I will go through our how to reach us slides and other information, and then we'll double check again. So if you have a question you've been thinking about, please put it in the Q&A box and we will get to that before we let you go today. This is just a real quick how to reach us. Our telephone number, we take applications from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, except in the case of holidays, over the phone. You do not have to come into our office to get that the application started. We also do applications online at azlawhelp.org, or you can visit our website at clsaz.org. And again, our office is closed to the public unless you have an appointment and need to meet with your advocate. Other than that, we do everything over the phone or again via our online application. How to reach us in person. During the week, we do satellite office hours in Peoria, in Phoenix, and also in Mesa for the community. And so the days and times are listed. They are also listed on our website in our locations information. And then, as you know, Community Legal Services is a nonprofit organization, and we do rely on donations and support from our community. You're welcome to give online at our website at clsaz.org/donate. We also have text to give. You just text the number 41444 and put CLS 2025, and it will text you the link for the form, or you can scan to donate as well. And then you please follow us on social media because we share information on webinars that are coming up, what topics we're going to cover, and anything else going on in the community for our free public webinars, other events that we'll be at that you can come and see us at, or if anything changes with our satellite office and remote office schedules. And it looks like we have some questions that have popped up. We were asked, can you get copies of the slides? Yes. If you would like a copy of the slideshow, email info, just info at clsaz.org. I will type that in the Q&A box as well.
And then
Sorry.
I'm seeing Brianna's question. How do I
Yes.
get evidence to prosecute? Document, 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 document. Of course, you you don't want to document solely on technology. Print copies, get a flash drive, put it in a safe place. Seek an advocate if you need help reporting incidents of abuse. Change your passwords, change your privacy settings, but definitely document everything that you can. Are we supporting a client who've been stalked via technology? Also, what does the survivor do if police refuse making a report? I would consider trying to get a protection order in that case, Anna. Do we have a list of providers to scan devices? I'm not sure about that question, anonymous attendee. And I think that I've answered the other questions.
Yeah, it looks like we have answered all the questions. If you need further clarification or if you have a specific question related to a specific case, please give our office a call and one of our triage specialists that answer the phone can give you resources or provide you additional information for that as well. Um, I will leave it just a few seconds just to make sure no other questions come in. I do really want to thank Megan for presenting the information today, especially, with the situation she's currently going through. Unfortunately, hopefully putting it out in the universe,
It's a
hopefully can be
teaching
great.
moment.
It is a teachable moment. Like I said, please follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are our best options for getting information about public webinars and things going on in the community. The recording will actually be on our website. It takes a little while because we have to download it off the servers and then upload it to our YouTube channel, but our YouTube channel is listed on our website as well. And CLS can assist in tech abuse cases depending on what the case is related to. So please give our office a call and apply or ask the triage specialist, and they can better direct you on whether or not that would be a case we would be able to take. We don't take any criminal cases. So if it's criminally charging someone for tech abuse, no, that's not something. But if it's tied to a different case, such as a family law case with abuse related or anything like that, it would depend on the situation. So just give our office a call and they can assist you with that question too. All right. And Megan, unless there's anything else you want to add, we will go ahead and complete our webinar today. And thank you all again for coming. And please pay attention for our next scheduled webinar that will be in the month of November. So thank you all again and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks, everyone.